On a blistering summer afternoon in Miami, 17-year-old Jamal Johnson trudged home from another grueling shift at the local restaurant where he worked as a dishwasher. His clothes were simple and tattered, and his well-worn cap did little to shield him from the relentless heat. This stood in stark contrast to the opulence of South Beach, where affluent tourists strolled along the boardwalk. The carefree, affluent lives of these vacations were a world away from Jamal's harsh reality. Since the age of 10, when his mother passed away, Jamal had been raised by his grandmother Donna, a formidable and compassionate woman who had shouldered the burden of their family's struggles with unwavering determination. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. As Jamal walked through the park, he couldn't help but cast a wistful glance at a group of white teenagers enjoying themselves, their laughter echoing through the warm evening air. The palm trees swayed lazily in the soft breeze, and the setting sun bathed the sky in a brilliant array of oranges and pinks. This picturesque scene seemed almost otherworldly to Jamal. He felt a pang of envy and sadness, acutely aware that such moments of carefree joy were beyond his reach. His dreams of a different, better life felt distant and unattainable. Each day presented a new battle juggling work to help his grandmother with bills, avoiding the ever-present dangers of his neighborhood, and navigating a world rife with limited opportunities and frequent violence. Without warning, the tranquility of his walk was shattered by the screeching halt of a police car beside him. The sudden appearance of the vehicle, followed by the stern and watchful gaze of two officers stepping out, sent a jolt of anxiety through Jamal. He froze, his heart pounding in his chest, fully aware of the all-too-familiar routine of these encounters. One of the officers, with an authoritative and contemptuous tone, barked, "Hey boy, what are you doing here?" Jamal's mind raced as he tried to keep his voice steady. "I'm just heading home from work, sir," he replied, his gaze fixed on the ground as he endeavored to maintain his composure and avoid further confrontation. Without asking any further questions, the officers immediately began their search of Jamal, tossing his personal belongings onto the ground and treating him as though he were a criminal. Despite his attempts to explain that he was doing nothing wrong, his protests were met with indifference. They rummaged through his pockets, threw his backpack onto the pavement, and scattered its contents all over the sidewalk. Jamal was handcuffed and roughly shoved into the back of a police car, while a group of white teenagers watched the scene unfold, some of them even laughing. At the police station, Jamal was subjected to an interrogation without any clear explanation of the charges against him and was treated with visible disdain. The hours dragged by as he sat alone in a cold, dark cell, feeling a growing sense of helplessness and humiliation. The bleak environment only heightened his sense of isolation. Eventually, after what felt like an eternity, Jamal's grandmother, Donna, arrived at the station. At 70 years old, with her gray hair and an unwaveringly determined expression, Donna confronted the officers with a mixture of fierce indignation and steely resolve. Despite her age, she spoke with a commanding presence. "He's just a boy coming home from work. You have no right to treat him like this," she asserted, her voice carrying an authority that belied her years. After considerable insistence and the absence of any evidence against Jamal, he was finally released. Nevertheless, the sting of humiliation and searing anger remained. As they made their way home, Donna held Jamal's hand tightly, her grip a tangible source of strength. "You need to be strong, my boy. This world is unjust, but you have to rise above it," she said. Her words resonated with Jamal as they walked in silence, their steps echoing the weight of their shared struggle. Upon arriving home, Jamal retreated to his room, closed the door behind him, and collapsed onto his bed. He stared at the ceiling, feeling utterly lost and powerless. Why does this happen to me? He wondered, his thoughts a maelstrom of confusion and pain. Tears welled up, but he fought to keep them at bay, determined not to be consumed by his despair. He understood he had to remain strong for his grandmother, yet the overwhelming surge of frustration and anguish made it difficult. Memories of his mother, who had passed away when he was only 10, resurfaced, compounding his emotional burden. In the days that followed, Jamal endeavored to maintain some semblance of normalcy. He continued working at the restaurant and focused on his studies, determined to improve his grades. The unwavering support of his grandmother and his best friend, Marcus, was crucial during this time. Marcus, who came from a similarly challenging background, deeply understood Jamal's plight. They shared a mutual aspiration for a better future, one that was a far cry from the daily struggles they endured. One evening, as Jamal and Marcus sat on the rooftop of their building, the city lights below provided a temporary escape from their harsh reality. The distant hum of traffic created a steady backdrop to their conversation. Jamal finally opened up about his recent ordeal. "I can't take it anymore, man. No matter what I do, it feels like I'm always treated like a criminal," he said, his voice tinged with frustration. Marcus gazed out at the horizon, contemplating his friend's words. "You're stronger than you think, Jamal, and you're not alone. We'll figure this out together," he replied with a determined resolve. Marcus's words, filled with solidarity and optimism, offered Jamal a faint but welcome glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. A few days later, the city received news of a new sheriff taking office, Sheriff Richard Roberts. Known for his reputation as both tough and fair, Roberts' arrival was met with mixed emotions. His appointment offered a glimmer of hope to many, including Jamal and Marcus, who dared to believe that real change might finally be on the horizon. To everyone's surprise, Roberts wasted no time in taking action. Shortly after assuming his role, he launched a thorough internal investigation into the behavior and practices of the local police force. For Jamal and Marcus, this was more than just a news headline, it was a potential turning point. The prospect of a more accountable and transparent police force sparked a new sense of optimism in them, making them wonder if the systemic issues that had long plagued their community might finally begin to be addressed. As the investigation progressed, Jamal focused on maintaining some semblance of normalcy in his life. He threw himself into his schoolwork and job, knowing that he had to keep pushing forward not only for his own sake, but also for his grandmother and the countless other young black individuals facing similar hardships. Despite his efforts to remain focused, the shadow of fear and mistrust lingered over him. One afternoon, as he was walking home, he noticed a police car following him closely. His heart pounded in his chest, and he quickened his pace, trying to remain calm and composed. The anxiety of being under constant surveillance made every step feel heavier. When he finally reached home, he recounted the unsettling experience to Marcus. "They won't leave us alone, Marcus. Even with this investigation underway, it feels like we're still targets," he said, his voice tinged with frustration and worry. Marcus, fully aware of the gravity of the situation, nodded in agreement. "We have to be careful, Jamal, but we can't let them break us. We need to stay strong and continue our fight. We can't let them bring us down," he urged. The days that followed were fraught with tension. Jamal couldn't shake the feeling of being watched constantly. He was meticulous about avoiding any situations that could draw unwanted police attention. Despite his vigilance, the sense of being pursued never fully dissipated, and it began to take a toll on his mental well-being. He found himself increasingly anxious and sleepless, his mind racing with fears of what might happen next. Yet, amidst the overwhelming challenges, there were fleeting moments of reprieve. Occasionally, Jamal and Marcus would head to the park to play basketball, using the game as an outlet to release some of their stress and momentarily escape the pressures they faced. At home, Donna worked hard to create a supportive and positive environment. She made Jamal's favorite meals and shared stories from her childhood, offering comfort and a sense of normalcy. These small, comforting moments were crucial for Jamal. They provided him with the strength and resilience needed to continue his fight against the injustices he encountered. The flicker of hope remained alive within him, driving him to persevere in his quest for a better future for himself and those he cared about. As the days wore on, Jamal tried to keep up a facade of normalcy at school. Despite his best efforts to stay positive, the trauma and humiliation he experienced at the police station remained a constant, painful reminder. Every encounter with a police officer sent his heart racing, his emotions a turbulent mix of fear and anger. He knew that many of his friends had faced similar ordeals, but experiencing it firsthand had given him a profound understanding of the harsh reality of being judged and mistreated based solely on the color of his skin. At school, Jamal dedicated himself relentlessly to maintaining his grades while also managing the responsibilities of helping his grandmother at home. His only confidant in this challenging journey was his best friend, Marcus. Both Jamal and Marcus came from families facing significant hardships, yet their shared determination to rise above their circumstances forged a deep bond between them. They had been inseparable since childhood, united by their mutual dreams of escaping the cycle of struggle that marked their daily lives. One crisp evening, Jamal and Marcus found themselves on the rooftop of their apartment building, the city lights below casting a soft, shimmering glow. The cool night breeze offered a fleeting respite from the harsh reality they faced each day. As they gazed out over the sprawling cityscape, Jamal's heart felt heavy with a burden he could no longer carry alone. The peaceful view contrasted starkly with the turmoil he felt inside. The distant hum of traffic provided a soothing backdrop to his confessions. "I can't take it anymore," Jamal finally said, his voice breaking slightly. "It feels like no matter how hard I try, they always see me as a criminal." Marcus, who had always been a steady presence in Jamal's life, stared thoughtfully at the horizon. The city lights sparkled like distant stars, a stark reminder of the dreams they both held dear. "You're stronger than you realize," Jamal Marcus replied with unwavering resolve. "And you're not alone in this. We'll figure things out together." Marcus's words, filled with determination and hope, provided a small but significant glimmer of light in the otherwise overwhelming darkness that enveloped Jamal's life. A few days later, a shift in the city's atmosphere occurred with the announcement of a new sheriff, Richard Roberts. Known for his reputation as both tough and fair, Roberts' arrival was met with cautious optimism. To everyone's surprise, Roberts immediately launched an internal investigation into the conduct of the local police. This development kindled a faint yet hopeful spark for Jamal and Marcus, who began to entertain the possibility of change. As the investigation progressed, Jamal tried to remain focused on his studies and his job. He was aware of the importance of persevering, not just for his own sake, but for his grandmother and other young black individuals who faced similar injustices. Yet, despite the investigation's promise, a pervasive sense of distrust and fear continued to cast a shadow over his life. The constant feeling of being watched began to take a toll on his mental well-being. Jamal found himself constantly on edge, his heart racing at every unexpected sound or movement. One afternoon, as Jamal was making his way home, he noticed a police car trailing him. His heart pounded with anxiety, and he quickened his pace in an attempt to maintain a semblance of calm. The sweat on his brow and the tight knot in his stomach were clear indicators of his rising panic. Once safely at home, he shared the unnerving experience with Marcus. "They just won't leave us alone," Marcus, Jamal said, his voice laden with frustration. "Even with the investigation underway, it feels like we're still being targeted." Marcus listened intently, his expression reflecting the gravity of the situation. "We need to be vigilant, Jamal," he said with determination. "But we also need to keep fighting. We can't let them break us." The days that followed were fraught with tension. Jamal felt as if he were constantly under surveillance. He took great care to avoid drawing any unnecessary attention from the police, but the sense of being pursued never left him. This persistent feeling began to erode his mental health, leading to sleepless nights filled with worry and fear. Every sudden noise made him jump, and his nerves were stretched thin.
As the investigation continued, the officers who had previously humiliated Jamal began to feel the pressure. However, the increased scrutiny did little to alleviate Jamal's sense of danger. He started receiving menacing glances from police officers, and the presence of law enforcement in his neighborhood seemed to increase, making him feel as though every move he made was under constant watch.
One night, after a long day of work, Jamal was confronted once more by the same officer who had previously harassed him. This encounter was far more menacing than before. The officer led Jamal to a secluded area and began to physically intimidate him, further deepening Jamal's sense of vulnerability and fear. "You thought you could take us down? We're going to teach you a lesson about messing with the police," the officers snarled as they began to beat Jamal mercilessly. Despite his desperate attempts to defend himself, he was hopelessly outnumbered. They threw him forcefully to the ground, their boots landing on him with brutal force. Each kick intensified the pain that radiated through his body, but the true agony lay in the crushing weight of despair and helplessness. As he lay there, staring up at the darkening sky, he fought to stay conscious, his thoughts filled with concern for his grandmother and Marcus. He didn't want them to suffer more because of him. Just as Jamal was on the brink of losing consciousness, a police car suddenly appeared, and to everyone's shock, it was Sheriff Roberts himself. "Release the boy immediately," Roberts commanded in a voice that brooked no argument. The officers, recognizing the gravity of the situation, hesitated for a moment before reluctantly complying. Roberts's presence signaled serious trouble for them. Jamal was taken to the hospital, where medical staff attended to his injuries. Throughout the ordeal, Sheriff Roberts stayed by his side, his presence a silent promise of support. When Jamal finally regained consciousness, he was met with Roberts's grave and concerned gaze. "Jamal, we need to talk. There's something important you need to know about your past," Roberts said, his tone serious and deliberate. Still groggy and in pain, Jamal struggled to make sense of the sheriff's words. The notion of learning about his past, particularly in such a context, was both intriguing and intimidating. He had grown up without a father, and the mention of his past stirred a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Over the next few days, while Jamal recovered in the hospital, Sheriff Roberts made frequent visits. Each encounter left Jamal more puzzled and intrigued by the sheriff's interest in his life. Finally, during one of these visits, Roberts decided to disclose the truth. Jamal, Roberts began, his voice low and cautious. "I knew your mother. She was an incredible woman, strong and determined. I am your father." The words hung in the air, heavy and almost impossible to believe. Jamal stared at Roberts, struggling to absorb the revelation.
"What? How is that even possible?"
Roberts took a deep breath, his expression one of regret. "I didn't know about your existence until recently. Your mother and I had a brief relationship, and she never told me she was pregnant. By the time I learned of you, it was too late. But now that I know, I want to make up for the lost time." Jamal was overwhelmed by a whirlwind of emotions: anger, confusion, and a glimmer of hope. The idea of trusting a man who had been a stranger until now was daunting, yet the longing for a father figure was palpable. Roberts continued, "I will make sure that these officers are held accountable for what they did to you, and I want to be part of your life if you're willing to let me." Jamal was silent for a moment, the gravity of Roberts's words weighing heavily on him. "I don't know what to say. This is all too much to process right now."
Roberts nodded understandingly, his eyes filled with sympathy. "I understand. Take all the time you need. I'll be here whenever you're ready."
Jamal nodded slowly, still in shock, but a small flicker of hope began to light up within him. He had always harbored a dream of meeting his father, but never in his wildest imaginings had he thought it would be someone like Sheriff Roberts. As he looked at the man who now claimed to be his father, he saw sincerity in his eyes, a sincerity that gave him a glimmer of hope amidst the overwhelming confusion. "I don't know what to say," Jamal replied, still in shock. "You don't need to say anything right now," Roberts responded gently, placing a reassuring hand on Jamal's shoulder. "Just know that I'm here for you, and we'll take it one step at a time." As Jamal lay in the hospital, the gravity of the situation began to sink in. For years, he had grown up with questions about his father, a subject his mother had never broached. Now, with Roberts revealing his identity as his father, Jamal found himself caught in a tumultuous mix of emotions: anger for the years lost, and hope for the possibility of a father figure who could offer him guidance and support. Over the next few days, Roberts made a point of visiting Jamal regularly at the hospital. Their conversations ranged from life's challenges and Roberts's own experiences to dreams and aspirations for Jamal's future. Roberts was determined to make a positive impact, assuring Jamal that he would do everything in his power to help him rebuild his life and access the opportunities he deserved. One evening, as Jamal lay alone in his hospital bed, he reflected deeply on his circumstances. He thought about his mother's relentless efforts to raise him alone and the sacrifices his grandmother had made to support them. This new revelation about Roberts, coupled with the promise of support, made Jamal realize that he couldn't let this chance slip away. He resolved to embrace the opportunity and work alongside Roberts to seek justice and build a better future. With Roberts's assistance, Jamal secured a scholarship to a prestigious school, offering him a chance to flourish away from the familiar struggles of his old neighborhood. Marcus, too, benefited from Roberts's mentorship, gaining entry into a program designed to support promising young individuals. Both Jamal and Marcus were now on a path that promised greater opportunities and a brighter future. Despite the new beginnings, Jamal faced fresh challenges at his new school. Although he was no longer grappling with the violence of his old neighborhood, he encountered prejudice in his predominantly white environment. Some classmates were resistant to accepting him, and Jamal had to navigate these social obstacles with resilience. Yet, supported by Roberts's unwavering encouragement and Donna's continued love and support, Jamal found the strength to persevere and stay focused on his goals.
One day, Jamal was summoned to the principal's office, his heart racing with apprehension. To his surprise, he found Roberts waiting for him when he entered the room.
"Good news," Roberts announced with a grin. "We've secured an internship for you at the law firm handling the case against the officers. This will be an excellent opportunity for you to learn and grow." Jamal's eyes widened in disbelief. "Really, this is incredible." "Amazing, Dad. Thank you for everything," Jamal responded, his voice filled with gratitude. Roberts's face lit up with pride. "You've earned it, Jamal. Your hard work and determination have been impressive. I'm here to support you every step of the way." Jamal felt a renewed sense of purpose as he prepared to embark on this new chapter of his life, grateful for the support and guidance that Roberts had offered and determined to make the most of the opportunities ahead. At the law firm, Jamal immersed himself in the intricacies of the justice system and the complex legal framework that affected not only his life but the lives of many others in similar situations. He approached every task with diligence and dedication, seizing every opportunity to learn and distinguish himself. Mr. Thompson, the lead attorney on the case, recognized Jamal's exceptional potential and chose to mentor him personally. "Jamal, I see a remarkable talent in you, Mr. Thompson remarked during one of their mentoring sessions. "If you continue with this level of commitment and passion, you could very well become an outstanding lawyer." Jamal's face lit up with a smile, a glimmer of newfound hope emerging within him. "Thank you, sir. I want to make a real difference. My goal is to help reform this unjust system." As the trial date for the officers who had assaulted him approached, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Despite the anxiety that accompanied this pivotal moment, Jamal remained resolute in his pursuit of justice. He understood that while this trial might not erase the trauma he had endured, Achieving a conviction could pave the way for preventing similar injustices against others.
The night before the trial, Jamal sat at home with his grandmother, Donna, who offered him her unwavering support. Sitting closely beside him, she clasped his hands tightly.
"I'm so proud of you, my dear boy. You've shown incredible strength and bravery, and I know you'll make a difference." Jamal looked at her with a deep sense of gratitude. "Thank you, Grandma. I couldn't have come this far without your love and support." When the day of the trial arrived, Jamal felt a mix of nerves and determination. He was acutely aware that his testimony was crucial to the case against the officers. As he entered the courtroom, he saw familiar faces: Roberts, Marcus, and Donna sitting in the front row, their presence a comforting reminder of the support he had. Mr. Thompson, acting as the prosecuting attorney, delivered a compelling opening statement, underscoring the significance of the case for the community and the broader fight against police brutality. When it was Jamal's turn to take the witness stand, he walked up with a sense of purpose, holding his head high. "Please tell the court what transpired on the night in question, Mr. Thompson prompted, his tone both serious and encouraging. The defense attorneys for the officers attempted to undermine Jamal's credibility, suggesting that he was exaggerating his experiences. Despite their aggressive questioning, Jamal maintained his composure, responding to each query with firmness and clarity. During a brief recess, Roberts approached Jamal, offering a supportive hand on his shoulder. "You're doing an excellent job, son. I'm proud of you." "Thank you, Dad," Jamal responded, feeling a surge of confidence bolstered by Roberts' encouragement. "I just want to see justice done." After several days of testimonies and deliberations, the jury returned with a verdict: the officers were found guilty of assault and abuse of power. The severity of the sentences sent a strong, unequivocal message that police misconduct would not be tolerated. The news of the conviction quickly spread throughout the city, and the community erupted in celebration. This victory was seen as a beacon of hope and a step toward justice and change. Jamal emerged as a symbol of resilience and courage, inspiring many to stand up for their rights. Motivated by his experiences and the guidance he received from Mr. Thompson, Jamal decided to pursue a career in law. He was driven by a desire to advocate for those who couldn't defend themselves, to combat injustice, and to drive meaningful reform within the legal system. Roberts continued to be a source of support, providing guidance and resources as Jamal worked toward achieving his goals. Jamal entered law school with a steely resolve and an unshakable sense of purpose. Fueled by a deep desire to effect change, he threw himself into his studies with fervor, determined to excel and absorb every facet of the justice system. Throughout his time in law school, Jamal immersed himself in a myriad of experiences that expanded his knowledge and sharpened his skills. He eagerly sought out internships, offered his time to civil rights organizations, and engaged in community service. As the years unfolded, Jamal's dedication and passion for justice set him apart, earning him widespread respect from both peers and professors. His relentless drive and strong work ethic became his defining traits. The law school itself, with its grandiose architecture and corridors steeped in legal history, quickly became a sanctuary for Jamal, a place where he could fully harness his potential and channel his aspirations. In his final year, he was presented with a pivotal opportunity to work on a high-profile civil rights case that would test his abilities and commitment. This case involved a group of immigrants who had been unfairly displaced from their homes by a powerful corporation. The complexity and significance of the legal battle were immense, but Jamal approached it with unwavering determination, ready to advocate fiercely for the victims of this egregious injustice. Inside the courtroom, an impressive edifice characterized by its grand columns and rich, dark wood paneling, Jamal's skills as a litigator shone brightly. His arguments were incisive, and his grasp of legal principles was profound. The demanding nature of the case meant long nights at the law firm, meticulously crafting legal strategies and preparing for each courtroom challenge. Despite the whirlwind of activity at the firm, where lawyers hurried from one meeting to the next, surrounded by towering stacks of documents and the incessant ringing of phones, Jamal found a unique sense of solace in the frenetic pace. Each additional hour of work, every document meticulously reviewed, and each argument carefully formulated brought him a step closer to achieving the justice he fervently sought. Amidst this whirlwind of activity and progress, Roberts, ever present and visibly proud of his son's accomplishments, made regular visits to the firm to discuss the case and offer guidance. "You're doing an incredible job, Jamal. I'm extremely proud of you. Your mother would be overjoyed to see the remarkable man you've become." Jamal, visibly moved by his father's words, responded with heartfelt gratitude. "Thank you, Dad. I owe so much of this to your unwavering support and Grandma. Both of you have given me the strength to persevere and reach this point." After months of relentless effort and dedication, the case was finally brought to a successful conclusion. The victims, who had long awaited justice, received the resolution they deserved, and Jamal was celebrated for his pivotal role in the victory. The courtroom buzzed with applause as Jamal was recognized for his unwavering commitment and crucial contributions. This landmark case not only marked a significant achievement, but also cemented Jamal's reputation as a promising lawyer and a staunch civil rights advocate. Witnessing the relief and gratitude on the faces of those he had helped was the most profound reward he could have imagined. With his law school graduation behind him, Jamal was ready to embark on his career as a lawyer. He accepted a prestigious position at a renowned law firm specializing in civil rights and advocacy for the underprivileged. Situated in a sleek, modern building in the heart of the city, the firm equipped Jamal with all the resources he needed to continue his mission of promoting justice and equality. As he prepared to start this new chapter, Jamal remained grounded and committed to his roots. He frequently visited his grandmother and actively participated in community activities in his old neighborhood. He was acutely aware that the battle against injustice was ongoing and that there was still much work to be done to improve the lives of those around him. Jamal dedicated much of his time to community events, where he passionately spoke about civil rights and motivated young people to advocate for a better future. One evening, as he sat at home with Donna, her eyes filled with pride and affection. "You did it, my boy. I'm so proud of you. Your mother would be overjoyed to see the man you've become." "Thank you, Grandma," Jamal replied, holding her hand with deep gratitude. "None of this would have been possible without your unwavering love and support. I promise to keep fighting for justice and making a difference." During one of his visits, Jamal decided he wanted to contribute even more to his community. He began organizing free workshops on civil and legal rights for the residents of his neighborhood. With the backing of his law firm, he successfully arranged the first workshop at a local school. The event was a resounding success, drawing dozens of attendees eager to learn about their rights and how to protect themselves legally. Simultaneously, Jamal's relationship with Sheriff Roberts continued to evolve and strengthen. Their bond grew beyond that of father and son. Roberts became a mentor and a close friend. Jamal deeply valued Roberts's presence in his life and the opportunity to have a supportive and loving father figure. One day, Roberts surprised Jamal with a heartfelt gift. "I found this among my old belongings," Roberts said, handing Jamal a cherished photo of his mother holding him as a baby. "She always believed you would achieve great things." Jamal gazed at the photo, tears welling in his eyes. "Thank you, Dad. This means more to me than I can express." As Jamal continued to excel in his career, taking on challenging cases that addressed injustice and fighting for marginalized communities, he gained widespread respect within the legal community. He was frequently invited to speak at conferences and events on civil rights, where he shared his story and inspired others to join the fight for justice. At one such conference, he encountered Mr. Thompson, his former mentor. "Thompson, visibly impressed with Jamal's progress, congratulated him on his accomplishments. "You've done extraordinary work, Jamal. I'm incredibly proud of you. You are a testament to how dedication and passion can truly change the world." "Thank you, sir. I've learned so much from you, and I am deeply grateful for your unwavering support and guidance," Jamal said, his voice reflecting the profound respect and honor he felt. With the steadfast support of his family, friends, and mentors, Jamal embarked on his journey toward a promising future. He was acutely aware that the path ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, but he was resolute in his commitment to face each obstacle with unwavering courage and determination. Each victory, no matter how small, brought him closer to his vision of creating a more just and equitable world. Fueled by hope and fierce determination, Jamal continued to advocate for justice, igniting inspiration in everyone around him with his relentless passion and dedication. Although he understood that the road ahead would be challenging, he felt confident in his ability to overcome any hurdles, bolstered by the steadfast support and love of his family and friends. Upon graduating from law school, Jamal eagerly stepped into the professional world as a lawyer. He accepted an offer from a prestigious law firm renowned for its specialization in civil rights and advocacy for the underprivileged. The firm, housed in a sleek, modern building in the heart of the city, was equipped with all the resources Jamal needed to advance his mission of justice and equality. The expansive windows of his office provided a breathtaking view of the city, and the vibrant, dynamic atmosphere of the workplace mirrored the dedication and fervor of the legal professionals who worked there. In the initial months of his new role, Jamal immersed himself in his work, tackling intricate and demanding cases with fervor. One of his most challenging cases involved a family that had been wrongfully evicted from their home. The legal struggle against the corporation responsible for the eviction was grueling and relentless, but Jamal remained steadfast. He dedicated countless hours to the case, meticulously gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and crafting compelling arguments. Each visit to the courthouse, with its towering walls and reverent ambience, only strengthened his resolve to secure justice for the affected family. In the courtroom, Jamal captivated everyone with his impassioned and eloquent presentation. His ability to articulate the deep injustices the family had endured and underscore the vital need to safeguard the rights of society's most vulnerable left a profound impact. His compelling argument was so persuasive that the judge ultimately ruled in favor of the family, ensuring they could return to their home. This victory was not only a triumph for the family but also a significant win for the entire community. Jamal was hailed as a local hero, embodying hope and resilience. Despite the victory, he was acutely aware that his work was far from over. Each success only strengthened his resolve to continue fighting for justice with renewed vigor. The news of Jamal's courtroom triumph quickly reverberated throughout the community, and he was inundated with messages of support and gratitude. Roberts, ever present and deeply proud of Jamal's accomplishments, reached out with heartfelt congratulations. "You're doing an exceptional job, Jamal. I'm incredibly proud of you. Your mother would be so thrilled to see the remarkable man you've become," Roberts said, his voice thick with emotion and pride. Jamal responded with equal emotion. "Thank you, Dad. Everything I've achieved is thanks to your support and the strength instilled in me by Grandma. You both gave me the courage to persevere." As Jamal continued his demanding work at the law firm, he felt a strong desire to give back to the community that had supported him so generously. He began organizing free workshops on civil and legal rights for residents. With the backing of his law firm, he successfully set up the first workshop at a nearby school. The event proved to be a tremendous success, attracting dozens of attendees eager to learn about their rights and how to advocate for themselves. The school, with its vibrant walls and bustling classrooms, created a welcoming atmosphere for the workshops. During one memorable session, Jamal spoke passionately about the importance of understanding and defending one's rights. "Justice isn't a distant concept, it begins right here in our community. Each of us has the power to make a significant impact," he declared, his eyes brimming with determination. His words resonated deeply with the participants, many of whom felt motivated to take action to safeguard their rights. Simultaneously, Jamal's relationship with Roberts continued to flourish. They frequently shared stories, discussed legal cases, and provided mutual support. Roberts, now more than just a father, had become a mentor and close friend. Jamal deeply valued Roberts' presence in his life and the opportunity to have a supportive and loving father figure. During a heartfelt visit to Donna, Jamal expressed his deep appreciation. "Grandma, I wouldn't have come this far without you and Dad. Your unwavering support and strength kept me going." Donna, with tears of pride and joy in her eyes, responded, "We've always believed in you, Jamal. You are a blessing to us, and we are incredibly proud of the person you have become." As Jamal continued to tackle challenging cases and champion the rights of the marginalized, he earned increasing respect within the legal community. He was frequently invited to speak at conferences and events focused on civil rights, where he shared his journey and inspired others to join the fight for justice. At one such conference, held in a grand auditorium filled with lawyers, students, and activists, Jamal had the opportunity to reconnect with Mr. Thompson, his former mentor. Thompson was visibly impressed by Jamal's progress and achievements. "You have done an outstanding job, Jamal. I am incredibly proud of you. You exemplify how dedication and passion can indeed transform the world," Thompson said, his admiration evident and heartfelt. "Thank you, sir. I have learned so much from you, and I am deeply grateful for all your support and guidance," Jamal replied, his voice filled with sincere appreciation. He felt a profound sense of honor in acknowledging the impact of the mentor's wisdom and encouragement. With the unwavering support of his family, friends, and mentors, Jamal steadfastly continued to forge his path toward a promising future. He was acutely aware that his journey would be lengthy and fraught with obstacles, but he was resolute in his commitment to confronting each challenge with unwavering courage and determination. Each triumph, no matter how small, brought him closer to realizing his vision of a fairer and more equitable world. Embracing the future with a heart brimming with hope and resolve, Jamal pursued justice with an inspiring zeal, motivating everyone around him through his passion and steadfast dedication. He fully recognized that the road ahead would be arduous, yet he felt bolstered by the unshakable support and love from his family and friends. This support fortified him as he faced the trials and tribulations that lay ahead. On the day of his law school graduation, Jamal took a moment to absorb the grandeur of the ceremony, held in an impressive auditorium adorned with richly paneled wood walls and elegantly displayed flags. The bright stage lights illuminated the space, highlighting the faces of the audience, both familiar and unfamiliar, all gathered to celebrate this significant milestone. As he scanned the crowd, Jamal's gaze settled on the front row where his grandmother, Marcus, and Roberts were seated, their presence a powerful testament to their unwavering support. A surge of pride and gratitude washed over him as he reflected on the numerous adversities he had overcome and the new chapter about to unfold in his life. Following the ceremony, Roberts approached Jamal, his eyes glistening with tears of pride. "I am incredibly proud of you, son," Roberts said, his voice choked with emotion. "You have an extraordinarily bright future ahead of you." Jamal's smile conveyed the sense of empowerment he felt as he stood on the brink of his new journey. "Thank you, Dad. I will make this opportunity count," he responded with conviction. With a promising future now within his grasp and the renewed support of his family, Jamal felt ready to face the world. The challenges he had endured had shaped his character, but they would not define his destiny. He was determined to navigate his path with resilience and purpose, honoring the memory of his mother, his grandmother, and the new lease on life he had been given. In the courtroom, during the pivotal trial of the officers involved, Jamal took the stand with unwavering resolve. His testimony, delivered with clarity and determination, played a critical role in securing the conviction of the officers who were sentenced harshly for their acts of brutality and abuse of power. This verdict marked a significant milestone in the ongoing struggle against racial injustice within the city, and Jamal emerged as a beacon of resistance and hope for many. With justice served, Jamal made the resolute decision to pursue a career in law, motivated by his experiences and inspired by Mr. Thompson's teachings. He aspired to become a voice for the voiceless, to combat injustice, and to drive meaningful reforms within the legal system. Roberts remained a steadfast supporter, offering both guidance and resources to help Jamal achieve his aspirations. Amidst a blend of tears, smiles, and applause, Jamal took his first steps toward a future replete with possibilities. He was ready to transform his pain into a source of strength and to build a legacy of resilience and hope. Acknowledging that his journey was only beginning, he was prepared to embrace the challenges ahead and make a lasting difference in the world. Watching her grandson's progress with immense pride, Donna's eyes shimmered with emotion. "You did it, my boy. I am so incredibly proud of you," she said, her voice filled with warmth. Jamal embraced her tightly, feeling the depth of the love and support she had always provided. "Thank you, Grandma. I couldn't have achieved this without you." As Jamal embarked on his new career, he remained deeply connected to his roots and the community that had shaped him. Despite his growing responsibilities, he made it a priority to visit his grandmother regularly, maintaining the close bond they had always shared. He also stayed actively engaged in community activities within his old neighborhood, understanding that the fight against injustice and the effort to uplift those around him were ongoing responsibilities. Weekends found Jamal dedicated to local community events, where he took every opportunity to speak about civil rights and inspire young people to advocate for a better future. His presence at these gatherings was not just as a speaker, but as a mentor and motivator, using his own experiences to drive home the importance of fighting for justice. One day, during one of his frequent visits to the neighborhood, Jamal felt a surge of inspiration and a desire to make a more tangible impact. He realized that many residents lacked basic knowledge about their civil and legal rights. Determined to address this gap, he began organizing free workshops focused on these crucial topics. With the backing of his law firm, he arranged the first workshop to be held at a local school. The school, with its vibrant and colorful walls and lively classrooms, provided a perfect backdrop for the event, creating an inviting and educational environment. The workshop was a resounding success, drawing dozens of attendees eager to learn about their rights and how to protect themselves legally. Meanwhile, Jamal's relationship with Roberts, his mentor, continued to flourish. Their bond had evolved into a deep friendship, with Roberts offering not only professional guidance but also personal support. Roberts had become more than a mentor, he was like a father figure to Jamal. Their shared conversations about cases and their mutual support strengthened their connection. One day, Roberts surprised Jamal with a heartfelt gesture. "I found this among my old belongings," he said, handing Jamal a cherished photo of his mother holding him as a baby. "She always believed in your potential to do great things." Overwhelmed with emotion, Jamal gazed at the photo with tears welling up in his eyes. "Thank you, Dad. This means the world to me," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. Jamal's phone rang with an urgent, insistent tone while he was meticulously organizing a stack of papers for an upcoming case. He glanced at the caller ID and saw Marcus's name flashing on the screen. Marcus's voice was laced with urgency and concern as he relayed shocking news: a young man from their neighborhood had been unjustly arrested for a crime he did not commit. The gravity of the situation struck Jamal immediately. He recognized this as a crucial moment and opportunity to once again make a meaningful impact and champion the cause of justice that he held so dear. Without hesitation, Jamal gathered his things and headed out the door. His determination was palpable as he made his way to the police station, mentally preparing for the confrontation ahead. Upon arrival, the familiar, Disdainful looks from the officers and staff greeted him, a stark reminder of the challenges he had faced in the past. However, this time he was no longer the target of their condescension, but rather an advocate fighting for someone else's freedom. Inside the station, Jamal approached the situation with a blend of resolve and precision. He meticulously presented evidence, meticulously dissected the legalities surrounding the arrest, and questioned every procedural misstep. His arguments were compelling and well-supported, bolstered further by Robert's invaluable assistance. Together they scrutinized every detail, pushing back against the flawed accusations and demanding accountability. Their efforts bore fruit when they successfully secured the young man's release. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of relief and triumph as they exited the police station. The young man, overwhelmed with gratitude, enveloped Jamal in a heartfelt embrace, tears of relief streaming down his face. This moment was a poignant reminder of the profound difference one person's dedication could make. As Jamal stood outside, he looked up at the starry sky, feeling a deep sense of inner peace and fulfillment. The night sky seemed to mirror his thoughts, a vast expanse of possibilities and hope. While he understood that this was merely one of many battles he would face in his quest for justice, he felt a renewed sense of readiness. With the unwavering support of his family, friends, and community, Jamal was more determined than ever to continue his fight for a more just and equal world. His journey, marked by perseverance and courage, had transformed him from a boy who once felt humiliated and underestimated into a symbol of justice and hope. Jamal Johnson had become a beacon of inspiration, demonstrating to everyone around him that despite the obstacles, it was always worth fighting for a better future. His story was a testament to the power of dedication and the potential for one person to effect significant change, encouraging others to embrace the challenge and continue striving for a world where justice prevails. As we've journeyed through Jamal's inspiring story, we've seen a remarkable transformation, one driven by passion, determination, and unwavering support from loved ones. From facing injustice to becoming a beacon of hope and change, Jamal's journey highlights the power of resilience and community. So, what have you learned from Jamal's story? Is there a lesson or insight that you find particularly impactful? We'd love to hear from you. Please share one thing you've learned and how you plan to bring it into your own life in the comments below. If you liked this video, please leave your comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring stories and content. Your support helps us bring more meaningful content to you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.